So talk, you're at Stryker, building an incredible career, seeing a ton of different technologies, I'm sure, come through, and everything else in between. And then talk to me how you kind of joined Perimeter. Walk me through what made you join. Maybe what did you see? What were you like, wow, like there's a huge opportunity here for me, but also for the company. I'm curious, what you saw.
Yeah, so actually, it's to get there. I should finish my Stryker
Yeah.
journey in that I took a couple more roles after I repatriated in a couple of the larger businesses. And when I left, I was the head of finance for their surgical business unit, which is I like to describe it basically as effectively everything in the operating room, but whatever is being implanted in the patient. So things like power tools for orthopedic procedures, fluid waste management. And while in that role, we made some breast cancer operation specific acquisitions. Most notably being a company called Envuity that was really changing the way that breast cancer procedures were being performed with a goal of preserving cosmesis for the patient. And what that means is, effectively survivorship in breast cancer is, we should be proud as a society of the results we've been able to achieve at this point. And what we really can improve on and continue to improve on, partially why I'm at Perimeter, is the quality of life in that patient survivorship. So finding ways to preserve, the cosmetic outcomes and, really the psychological impact of having breast cancer for that patient in their survivor journey was one of the big points of Envuity. They're kind of notorious for what they call their hidden scar procedure, which gives a new kind of advanced energy that really enables a different surgical approach to hide the scar and limit additional scarring for the patient, which, any scar is just a reminder every day when you're getting out of the shower that, oh yeah, I did have breast cancer, and, that has a risk of coming back at any time. And so on the back of that, we were really eager to expand our women's health business. In medical devices, women's health is one of the fastest growing segments, continues to be one of the fastest growing segments in the industry. So we're doing a lot of diligence on potential targets and potential technologies for the next product in our bag. And one of those areas we were looking at was something to solve intraoperative margin assessment. And for those who don't know, is a problem where surgeons today don't really have the sufficient tools to give them the information they need to determine whether or not they've excised all of the cancer from the patient. So they remove the specimen, or they remove the tumor. That specimen is sent to a pathology lab, which can take anywhere from 2 to 7 days to examine that specimen and validate that indeed there was likely no cancer left behind. And obviously you can appreciate there's a problem with sewing the patient up, sending them home, waiting a week to get that information. It's straining on the patient with that uncertainty. It's a widely recognized low quality outcome of care for patients, because today the grand mean is about 1 in 4, 25% of patients have to come back for a reoperation because the pathologist finds that indeed we should have taken more tissue out. So being able to move that information into the operating room is, some surgeons would call it the holy grail of breast conserving surgery today. And that's how the Perimeter opportunity came to me. So I was actually, beyond my Stryker time, was with a company called Smith & Nephew in their orthopedics business, working on similar things in robotics and computer-assisted surgery. And the Perimeter opportunity was presented to me, and as I mentioned, I had already done a lot of diligence on the space as a potential acquirer, and was really, really high on the space. It's one of those trifectas in medical devices where it improves patient outcomes, it does so with an economic benefit for the payers, and it does so that's not disruptive for the providers and the surgeons. So it's really a win-win-win. And a significant win-win-win. 25% of patients coming back for potentially avoidable reoperations, costing $500 million at least annually in the U.S. In avoidable costs, depending on how you define, the cost attributed to it. So a big opportunity, and could see that the way Perimeter was solving it was very differentiated. It's one of those technologies we are 10 times higher resolution than the most widely used alternative, which is specimen radiography or X-ray. We preserve the decision making in the hands of the surgeon. So, giving imaging information to the surgeon so the surgeon has what they need to make the decision. So, I really like to distinguish that at Perimeter, we're caring for the caregiver. We're helping the surgeons do their job to the best of their ability. And then, this is a classic use case, image interpretation, unstructured data. It's a classic use case for artificial intelligence. And, the game changer that AI can bring to really democratizing this technology is a very exciting opportunity for us. So with all those things combined, was really excited about Perimeter as an opportunity. And then where they were at the stage of their life cycle as a company was perfect for my profile. So Stryker, I think, is pretty widely regarded as one of the best commercial execution organizations in medical devices. And Perimeter was right at that inflection point in their journey where they were transitioning from a product development clinical study company to getting that technology out in the hands of surgeons to really begin impacting patients' lives. So, it was kind of a match made in heaven from my profile being able to add value to where Perimeter was at, and me really, really being excited about the technology and the future growth opportunities for Perimeter.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we'll go into more details, obviously, about the company here coming up. Some good teasers to chat about. But I guess here, kind of want to leave it off with, so you join the company, get the CEO title. Walk me through what kind of your day-to-day, week-to-week looks like now as a CEO.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting time, but a very exciting time. Joining just pre-pandemic and trying to execute a reverse takeover in the middle of a pandemic was a very interesting experience for me. But proud to say and pleased to say that for all the reasons I think I discussed about how exciting this technology is and the impact it's going to make on healthcare, we had a very successful RTO, and it's been a very successful experience since then. So day to day, we're right in the thick of continuing that transition. So I'd say we're still kind of turning the aircraft carrier at this point. We have two major kind of value creation work streams that we focus on day to day. And the first would be commercializing the existing technology. So earlier this year, we received an upgraded 510K clearance on the device before AI that we know is prime for what we're calling an early adopter market. So that's about 30% of breast surgeons or 500 hospitals in the U.S. really performing a lot of lumpectomies with surgeons that are imaging savvy that can pick up this technology pretty quickly. And that's, like oxygen for a guy like me getting out now that we can actually visit customers again, getting out there, talking to customers here, helping them with their practice and really demonstrating the difference maker that this can have on their practice and their brand equity as a hospital or as a surgeon specifically is a lot of fun for me every day. And then concurrently, we couldn't be more excited about the artificial intelligence development. So the front half of this year, we made significant progress in what we're calling our Atlas AI project. So that's a 3-part project. We've completed part 1 and on the very tail end of part 2, which was collecting images. So for those who don't know, classic artificial intelligence development, we needed to, collect a ton of images, label those images, effectively manufacture our algorithm to train it so that it can distinguish cancer from non-cancer or regions suspicious of cancer within our imaging technology. So we completed that. Right after that, the FDA granted us breakthrough device designation on that technology. which is a huge tailwind for us on a lot of different fronts. From a customer perspective, they recognize that this is a tailwind for the FDA. So really from an external validation of our technology, we've received a product development grant from the state of Texas, so the Cancer Prevention Research Institute of Texas, which we were one of over 20 applicants in our category in the period, the only one to win a product development grant. And then being granted breakthrough device designation from the FDA, saying, listen, this is a really exciting new novel technology addressing an unmet need. And that paves the way for significant improved interactions with the FDA and a fast track to reimbursement once that technology is cleared for market by the FDA. So big things coming out of that. And now we're really at the very final stages of getting the validation study kicked off on that technology. So we've been through the development phase. Now we're on to the validation phase, and that study, which is a 7 or 8 site multi-site prospective study that will demonstrate our ability to impact reoperation rates in breast conserving surgery, is about to kick off, and the investigators are, chomping at the bit to get the technology in their OR and get the study kicked off, and so that's a really fun time for us on a day-to-day basis as well, and really very quickly on the tail end of that, we're looking at what's next for Perimeter. So the technology is exciting in really any solid state cancer. So these early commercial initiatives will show us kind of which surgeons gravitate to the technology most quickly. And then, we also have an opportunity at other parts of the cancer surgery workflow. So we think there's a big win in radiology for biopsy confirmation, as well as in pathology post-op. There's a ton of value to be added with our technology there. So lots of near-term things. Yeah, lots of near-term things and lots of investment in the future.
All I could say is anyone who's made it this far, you can clearly there's a lot to cover, so lots of videos to come. But Jeremy, look, this was one of the best intros I think I've ever done. What an incredible background. The passion obviously comes off, and we'll make sure we go through some questions and introduce kind of the tech, different segments, how we plan to expand, all that stuff. We'll do little videos on. But Jeremy, thanks so much for joining. This is an awesome intro.
Great. Thanks, Jason. Thanks for having us.